Good evening, everybody. It's been a long day. It's finally Friday, and got off work on time. Had to make a little trip into town. Picked up a few bites to eat with the wife and kids, and got back home and decided I wanted to come out here to the ham shack and play a little radio for a little while and tune around the band, see what was going on. It's been about probably, I don't know, 3 weeks since I've actually been out here and made any kind of contacts on the radio at all, or even listened to the radios other than my little portable shortwaves. So got out here tonight. Of course, the ham shack is still a mess because I haven't got around to organizing anything in here or cleaning up any of the craft room supplies that's still in here. The radios are organized to a bare minimum. If you've seen some of my previous videos of the tour, you kind of have an idea of how it's laid out and what all I've got going on in here. But when I got in here, it was about 83 degrees according to the weather station thermometer inside the room here. It's insulated, but I don't have an AC in it yet. It's coming, but I don't know when I'll be able to put one in. And turn on the Hallicrafters S-120 and put it in standby mode just to let the tubes warm up and kind of get it stabilized. Turned on the CB and the HF, the Icom IC-730, and let them stabilize for a few minutes. And got on CB, and there was as usual, a bunch of riffraff on there, walking and talking and balking, and tried to make a few contacts, but I couldn't get nobody. Nobody could hear me, or they didn't want to respond. They were too busy. Well, quite frankly, they were all in a cussing contest on there, trying to see who could cuss the other one out on the channel, which is it happens. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of the CB channels have gone to now. It's just a hollering contest. If you get on the lower sideband, which I don't have a sideband capable radio, I'm AM only right now, 23 channels because of the radios that I have. The old Trinidad that we use, it doesn't have any sideband capabilities, so we're AM only. And in the sideband, there's some more calmer people, for lack of a better term, that are willing to make a contact with you, have a nice little QSO, and just a nice little exchange, and then say your 7.3s and move on, and try to catch someone else. They're not always interested in who's got the big stamp and who's got the best mic and the most toys and noise makers, and who's going to kick who's behind over what have you. So looking forward to being able to get a sideband radio eventually, and get into the sideband where it's a little more civil, and some of these AM channels that are just whew, there was some rough ones on there tonight. But I didn't make any contacts. I listened for a little while. I didn't record anything from it because there wasn't really nothing to record there. So we skipped that. Moved on to my Icom IC-730 HF rig, and tuned around the bands a little bit. Got on 40 meters, which is what I have my dipole cut for. And tuned around there, a couple QSOs, happening. At this point, I was just kind of in a listening mode. I wasn't really interested in, making a contact and logging a QSO with anybody. I just kind of was listening and drinking a cup of coffee and seeing what all was happening out there and how the bands were behaving. And was coming in pretty good, and I got some recording of some QSOs and some tuning up and down the band just to show you what was going on tonight. went to 20 meters, which is typically better in the daytime, but it works at night too. And I've had some trouble with this tuner that I bought off of eBay. If you look at the Ham Shack tour video, it explains in there what happened with that tuner when it came in. And I've had some trouble with it getting it to tune on a couple of bands, which I'm tuning a 40 meter inverted V dipole. It's about 15 feet. Well, it's about, no, that one's about 25 feet up in the air. So it's not an ideal height anyways, and I know that's going to mess with some stuff, the SWRs and all. But anyways, I'd had some trouble in the past. Well, tonight I come in and, did the preliminary tune for maximum noise and set my transmitter to low power and found a vacant spot in the band and, keyed up and tuned up and got my SWR down to like 1.2 to 1. And it's never done that. First time. So I don't know if it was something I did differently or if it was something going on with the antenna, or what, or if there's still something going on with this tuner. But anyways, it tuned and it stayed there, and my radio loved it. I double checked it with the radio SWR meter just to see what it was showing, and it showed 1.2 as well. So anyways, tuned around on 20, got some QSOs, recorded a few minutes of that as well. And then I went to 80 meters, and 80 meters has never, ever, ever worked on this 40 meter dipole. I've never got it to come anywhere close to being a tune anywhere. It was always 5 to 1, 10 to 1, 9 to 1. It was way up there. So I said, you know what the heck, let's try it and see. Set everything up, did a preliminary tune for maximum noise, got the inductor set, which is my first clue. The inductor actually showed a difference in noise. And again, it may have something to do with the antenna tonight and the conditions and, all that. I know there's tons of things that play and have an effect on the way RF works and behaves, and how a tuning network can, tune a resonator. So, but anyways, tuned it up, maximum noise, low power, found a vacant spot, keyed up, tuned, thought I wasn't going to get it, and then found the magic spot, and it dipped. And it dipped all the way down to 1.3 to 1 and stayed there. And double checked it with the radio. Radio was showing about a 1.3.5 to 1. It's hard to tell. These aren't, very finely graduated scales. Anyways, tuned around, found a couple of QSOs on 80 meters, which is typically a bad band for me. It's usually a very quiet band as far as the noise goes, but there is usually no signals on it whatsoever. Even using other antennas that I have put up, I even cut a dipole for 80 meters, but it was not built correctly. I'd spliced a couple of links of wire together, and I think I had some loss in it, and I was running some crappy coax, and the connectors wasn't all that great, but it never would receive very well. And even on a long wire on my short waves, 80 meters was just it was just not there. You could get a couple of signals, but tonight it was coming in pretty doggone good. Not no 20/9 signals coming in, but we were getting plenty of them above the noise floor. The noise floor tonight was around a S3. Static crashes, had a good bit of QSB fading on it, and you can kind of see it in the video because the signal gets really noisy and then it gets quiet. Then it gets really noisy and then it gets quiet. And I tried to make sure all the connections and the controls on the tuner and the radio and the antenna connections were all secure. Thought it might be, a stray short somewhere. Couldn't find anything, so I'm thinking that it may be just QSB, fading across the band. I noticed it a little bit on my shortwave as well when I had it on. So, but anyways, did really well. And one of the things I love about this Icom IC-730, it's an old rig and it was cheap. And I took a gamble that it would even plug in and work. But this thing is really a great receiver. Transmit it does very well. Not a lot of power, about 40 watts on AM, and I think I've had it up to around 80 or 90 watts on single sideband, and that's about all it will do. I think the paperwork says that it's rated for 40 on AM, and I want to say it says 200 on single sideband, but I don't think that was correct. I may be wrong. And if you have an IC-730 or know of someone who does or know anything about this radio that can give me some accurate numbers to go by, as in you've actually seen it, outputting on a watt meter, what these radios can do, send me a comment, let me know. But this radio is super sensitive. I had a couple of QSOs that I was, had tuned into that were actually below the noise floor, but their signal was still intelligible enough that this radio would pick them up and could, detect them and produce audio from them. They did not even come close to bumping the signal meter at all. So that's one of the things I do like about this radio is it is a very sensitive and a very selective radio as well. You can actually, filter out some of the, adjacent noise and signals and kind of narrow in. I'm sure it doesn't perform nearly as well as a newer, SDR type radio as far as being able to really chop out a signal from the spectrum and, slide the noise and the other signals away from it and just focus on that one, because it's, a mechanical, for lack of a better term, radio. There's no, software or, logic chips or phase, any of that stuff in there to do the work. It's all relying on mechanical filters and tune circuits and, that kind of stuff. And there may be some logic chips in it, but I don't know enough about it to comment on it, as far as its total internal workings, but I know that it does rely on a lot of mechanical filtering, but it does a good job. Very well built radio. For $60, I got my money back and more out of it. So, but anyways, also there's a little clip on here for the Hallicrafters S-120 shortwave. Tuned around, got a couple of stations coming in. WTWW was coming in really well tonight. The BFO on this thing is acting all screwy again, where you can't tune single sideband. So I'll maybe diving into it a little later and seeing if I can figure out what's going on with it. Did notice that a couple of band scales are pretty far out. Band 2 was showing 5 megahertz at around 4.4 or 4.4 4.32, and it was showing 5085 around 4.4. So it needs to be realigned again. And the first time I did an alignment on it, it was the first radio I had ever aligned, ever. I was using a Heathkit old signal generator that was, well, it was off. So got some better equipment now. Got a more modern signal generator to go off of that produces a stable, accurate reference signal now, so we can do some better alignments on it. Still got the old Heathkit, and it needs some work. Capacitors, resistors, a good tune-up, and it'll still be a good unit, but it needs some work done on it. But anyways, just a little snippet of some clips of some things happening on the bands tonight. Just showing you kind of what kind of audio and signal my equipment brings in. Hopefully this weekend I'll be able to get out here and make some contacts, and I'll have ability to record some of the video some video on those contacts, and maybe get a few signal reports in so that you can see how this works, because one of the goals of this channel and all that I do is to help the people who are just getting into ham radio, like myself, understand that you don't have to drop $3,000 on a new radio, a new antenna, a new tuner, power supply, towers, push-up poles, what have you. You don't have to go out and spend, half of your, savings to get set up in ham radio. Everything I've got less than $200 in it. I got $60 in a radio, and the $60 bought the Icom IC-730, the Astron RS-20M power supply. It bought a Lafayette Comsat 25B CB, and I think that's it. But anyways, $60 bought all three of those. The antenna I built, electric fence wire, a bunch of scrap insulators and stuff that I had laying around. Push-up pole come from the junkyard over at my dad's place, and it was just an antenna, TV antenna push-up pole that it was all rusted up, and that's why it only goes to 25 feet. It should go to 40 feet, but it only goes to 25 feet because a couple of the sections are really in bad shape. I didn't want to run it way up. The coax and all, I did purchase two 50-foot runs of coax. They were $14 a piece, and they were the eBay coax, and they work pretty good. They're probably not the best in the world. They're RG8X coax. And then I was going to purchase some CB equipment from a guy, and he ended up selling it out from under me. And all he had left was about 50 foot of LMR 400 coax that ran from the old house out to the antenna. So he ended up giving me the coax. So that's what my HF rig is run through, is that LMR 400. So, and then the tuner I did purchase, I paid $80 for it, but off of eBay. And like I said in a previous video, it had some problems when it came in, and I repaired it, but I think it works good. It tunes 40 meters great, and the other ones, we've had some issues, but tonight worked like a champ. As some people say, a good MFJ tuner will tune a lawn chair. And if you don't believe me, you need to go watch Ham Radio Concepts, because he actually tunes two lawn chairs as a dipole antenna with an MFJ tuner. So that's another good channel to check out if you aren't subscribed to him or watching his videos already. Go check out No, I'm not Ham Radio Concepts. Ham Radio Crash Course on YouTube. Ham Radio Crash Course. He did a video where he built a dipole out of 2 old aluminum lawn chairs and actually tuned them up. And they worked. They wasn't great. They worked. So in a pinch, you can use your lawn chairs as an antenna. So anyways, all right. We'll get out of here for tonight. I appreciate everyone that does watch the videos. We're working on getting some new equipment. It takes time and it takes money. And we'll take it one step at a time. If you would like to donate anything to the channel, there's a link to the PayPal account. It's secure. You can drop a little change in the bucket there. That money goes to buy shortwave radios for review, or buy equipment for the ham shack to review and let you know how it works. You know, and to cover the cost of keeping this channel going, whether it's, you know, maintaining equipment or software or whatever the needs may be. So, but I appreciate everyone that has watched the videos, and if you like them, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. Either way, send me a comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Be nice. That's all I ask. Don't sit on your high horse and preach down to the masses, because I don't know everything, and this is an experiment and just having fun. There's nothing scientific about anything that's getting done here. So if you feel the need to get on here and criticize anyone for their comments, for their suggestions, or for stuff that I do on the channel, well, you might not want to participate anymore. So, but you're not gonna hurt my feelings. But I don't think it's fair to the other people that are trying to learn, and that you know, even if something doesn't work, they want to know the process and the steps that you go through to figure out that it doesn't work. So that's my philosophy, is never be critical of anyone who's trying to learn, because we've all been there. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time. Enjoy your radio.
Specifically you, but I'm talking to someone who's on a friend on the phone and so that must have been you. Let me go over here and tickle the computer here and see if I can pull up your call, see when that was. Roger, Roger? WB4.
Yeah, okay, very good. Who's the other station?
WB4,
The Mobile, again? I'm sorry, it's very, very difficult here. Got some static in here. I can just barely make out that it's a Mobile, so I'm very sorry about that. But thank you for the call very much, and the other station as well. So I'm standing by for Steve. HP9 SAM K3 MTG, standing by.
Roger that, K3MTG. According to my log, we worked in both April and May of this year. April and May. Roger, Roger. So I believe that was probably you. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, that was me. Yeah. My friend is very long-winded. He gets on there. He'll go on forever. But I think he was telling you about piloting a ship through the canal and all that. So he used to pilot ships to Vietnam back in the day, delivering fuel and all that. So he's been around. He's been mainly a Chesapeake Bay pilot for many years. So he's retired now, but he's quite a guy anyway. So anyhow, Steve, you're doing great up here and all that, and I think I better turn the beam around here a little bit. I'm shooting over my neighbor's house here right now, and might be interfering with some of their equipment over there. So they never complain, but I'm sure it happens. Steve, go ahead.
Roger that, Don. Roger that. But I'd like to see, if you don't mind, for a quick moment, Whiskey Bravo 8, Lima Echo Sierra. See if he's still copying me, because I had a 5.9 on you down there that I rolled in the garage. Go ahead. Well, roger that. I got a 5.9 on you, Les. I put you in my log. Go ahead. Every once in a while I get there. It seems like every time I come in from dinner and tune to it, like tonight, there's nobody there. So, but I'm on the side of Red Nest a lot. Go ahead. You got us. You got us, Les. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know, and I'm going to keep you in my log. So, thank you very much, Don, for allowing me to make that additional contact. And Les, you take care, and I'll run into you on the Spider Red Nest sometime. So you guys, 7-3 for you, and take care. Hotel Papa 9, Sierra Alpha, Mexico.
Hey, let's stay in there. Will you? Steve and Les, you go ahead. I'm gonna drop out of here for a while and take a break. So why don't you go ahead with Steve? Go ahead with Les there. Okay.
Well, okay. If Les wants to hang around, I was just gonna tool around the band a little bit before I take a shower and go to bed. I'm the life of the party, even if the party lasts all the way till 8:30. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Les trains on. He trains people to fly jets. So he's an instructor and all that. So So anyway, Steve, great to hear you again, and we'll run into you again, I'm sure. So if you ever hear me, give me a call. AC9SAM to pick it up with WB8LES and 73 last K3MTG down clear. You guys take care.
Okay, take care, Ron. Don, you take care. Les, you say you got an airport north of Tampa you go down to. Is that around Hallicrafters Estate? Go ahead. California, is that right? Yeah, they have I'm talking about a 20-meter beam, but I put up a 40-meter beam a few weeks ago, or about a month ago, and it worked great for a couple weeks, and now it's giving me fits. So I'm trying to figure out if it was the amplifier, the transceiver, or the antenna, and I just came to the conclusion it's an antenna problem. Well, you're probably doing okay. It's terrible, and your audio is good when I can hear you. It's probably about a 4x4, but it's better than anything else. Yeah, exactly. No, I was referring to my 40-meter antenna. I'm pretty much isolated. That is my problem. So right now I'm on the 20-meter beam. We're only running about 200 watts right now. Over. Roger, roger. So I have you at Scott? That's affirmative. Excellent. I found you. I got an OSF KX3. I normally don't hook it up to my computer, but I've got everything set down here. I got the computer set up. I've downloaded my latest version of Ham Radio for lunch. That's in order, over. Good deal. It's a battle sometimes. I've done all these changes, added that antenna and everything, and there's something going on with it. I'm going to get Mosley calling. It's nice to be kind of limited down to what my problem is on 40 meters. It's a really strange thing. But anyway, I've got my 20 meters is working. I can see without an antenna altogether, over. Yes, I understand. Hey, your signal came up that time. So before I lose you again, I'll say 17 thanks for the shirt, Chuso. And have a great weekend there, over. You too, Jeff. Have a great weekend, guys. Nice coming back to you. Let me know. Something's working anyway. See you, man. You got it. It's working. For Michigan, that ain't easy. California, big time for it, too. We'll go to Alpha Victor. Okay, anything else from Victor Quebec? Alpha. Victor, the name here is Roger. And I'm located just outside Grand Rapids, Michigan, QSL. I got a good shot number. You're 5'9" of the third. What you want to take for those? He's moving across the band and not much going on. California in there, over. Yeah, they work in incentives, so I'm glad to know that the band's not very good. Yeah, you're good 5'7". When the QSP is in your favor, sometimes but otherwise, this running curve for 100 watts. You got a 20-meter dipole up about.
Alrighty, well, it's doing a great job here. The dipole is definitely cranking it out. I'm on a 3 ohm motion, facing basically 60 degrees. I think I've done about that. So, thanks for coming back to me. I've got a logging for Roger. I've got you into QRZ though. Over.
Okay, real fine, Scott. Thanks much. And you're up to 5 and 9 now, over.
Thanks for the 5'9". You are as well. Who knows?
Anyway, have a great weekend, Roger. Thanks for the comeback, and look forward to next time we talk. Okay, Scott, 73, all taking QAD clear.
All right, thanks so much. Anybody else want to get in California? Where's that?
Kilo November 4, Oscar Yankee Juliet.
Kilo Tango, am I right?
Kilo Delta 1, Kilo Tango.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing, Keith. You and I talked back in April of last year, so we've only talked once before. It's nice to hear you again, Keith. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, all is well here. I'm running a new amplifier. I have a license lost the amplifier and stuff like that.
That sounds like a great setup. It's working great for you. I the Hallicrafters solid-state 200 watts, but I've been having some problems with the amp, but it's not to be repaired. Turns out that's not it. Looks like it's my antenna. So 200 watts right now, and I'm a 40-meter helpless right now. Over.
All the 40 up also a high gain. Works pretty well so far. So we like the EVHD which up the motorized element. Took out all the control box. Well, it's doing great. I'm glad you got it up and working. So anyway, I'm just talking on a barefoot 200 watts off my Kenwood 990 into the 3 element Mosley, and so that's how I'm making the trip. But I'm glad to be doing that, and hope to get my 40 meter figured out. It's a 2 element Mosley, and something's off with it. It's brand new. Yeah, okay. Well, your 200 watts is going fine. You can copy this. And yeah, I just want to see if is that not loading or how are they? It's not a full size, is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to explain it actually. It's got 2 elements. It's called the 402. I mean, the element's about 42 feet long, and it's got a coil. I don't know if it's a gamma mass or whatever, but it goes between the two halves of the element. So I'm not sure if it's something to do with that. I'm sure it's built right, but I think it's something internal to that coil they have the install over.
Yeah, right. But you're loading coil to short setup. Obviously, full size pathway would be 60 something feet. off top of your logo. And today, this is long to the elements that can block. Loading, so fast, so quick, no coils on it there, Robert. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't think there'd be anything to go wrong there, but I'm going to call them on Monday and see what they say, because it's kind of a hassle to keep your lesson on it. It's brand new, I think it's the work. So, anyway, nice to have it nailed down, but that's probably what the problem is. And anyway, Keith, nice talking to you again, and man, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope the weather's great. Yeah, the weather's good. Today is such wall to wall. Ready to keep this green. A real pretty time of the year here, except for kind of mow the lawn twice a week each night. All right, Scott. Thanks, Dad. Good to hear you and 73 out there to the west coast. I've been out there. I've got a good friend in Ramon, San Diego County, that we visited a few times. So I do know the area. UH. 73, good weekend. Bye-bye. Nice to watch you again. Keep the get through the shores in, and yeah, San Diego's a beautiful area. All right, NBL for the band wants to get into California. See the Western 6 Tango, Uniform Hotel, QRZ.
Kilo November 4, Oscar Yankee Juliet.
The Delta Uniform X-ray in Louisville, Quebec. All right, Kilo Delta 9, Delta Uniform X-ray Mobile. Dad, how you doing? Website. Okay. Yeah, I feel better about it now. Nothing which is already good for each one. Yeah, they had the stuff to stop it. They had been taking me about 4 months before they already had the stuff to put on their servers to secure them, and they just didn't do it. So, we're done with you. Yeah, good night, Dennis. See you tomorrow. Yeah, see you later. Kevin's hoisting up his weight. No, I have not. Lay it on him, Kevin. Well, I didn't jump for no HF auto or nothing, but I got me one of them manual. I never. Yeah, stop it again when conditions are better. They're nice, better shoes for them. Open static, you know. So, yeah, God bless. And try to stay warm there in Minnesota. I know you guys are really getting cooled off there with 85 degrees. So, you gotta stay warm. I'll get back to that inside, right? Anybody leave her? You want to talk about anything? Let me know. This is Stone Mountain Mike.
I'd like to make a comment. Yes, sir. Go ahead. I got the Big John's GTO today. You know, you've already talked about it. Had to meet his GTO? Yeah, big GTO. I forget what year. I thought he said 2006, but I can't. Don't quote me on that. 6.0 liter engine in it. Man, it was a machine. Me and him had lunch together today. Oh, all right. Yeah, he texted me earlier, said he didn't know if he's gonna be able to get in here tonight or not. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I asked him, I said, why did you drive that Corvette? He said, oh no, it just goes around the block. But he bought the GTO up to lunch today. Nice car. I couldn't believe it had a 6.0 liter engine in it. It's a tough car. I think it was the last production of GTO. Oh yeah, it finally sounded real good too, didn't it? Well, it was a pretty thing. But I just wanted to tell you, I got to meet his GTO today. Sharp, and I met him, he was over at our church. I go to church at Sister Troy. Fresh on, that's all about social right. I'm not hurt right in that spot. I'm hurting over to the side there in the back.
Here's another one of our listeners' favorites with an instant request.
Los acuerdos migratorios de 1986 entre Estados Unidos destacando el derecho de toda mujer a vivir y morir en su patria. Al frente de la Iglesia Católica Cubana y a la misma anti-God, anti-family, human enslavement program of control freaks now being carried out in 2019 in the West. And it shows that Back to Somalia. As far as the rate is, of course, you can't get to a guy because of 75.
Más instalaciones deportivas. Nuevos.
Well, you can see here that band 2 is not properly aligned because that's WTWW at 5085 and it's showing up at 4.4 on the band scale. So that tuning coil is out of adjustment. And if you do right here is WWV at 5 megahertz and it's at 4.3, probably 25 on the band scale. So band 2's out of adjustment. We know that. Let's see what's on band 1.
Find, fit, an iHeartRadio podcast with 23andMe on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your good news. The expensive
Here's unquote. James Aradell, later a Supreme Court justice.
Crown on the motor.